Okay, hello, hello. I think I am live, and it says at least two people are watching. Yay! So, I wanted to share some stuff with you from the Facebook group again because we had some questions there, but I have had a very busy morning, so I'm going to have to look at it. So, if you have any questions, pop them in, and I'm going to try to multitask. We shall see how that goes, if I can be efficient doing that or not. I look very, very orange today. I don't know what's up with my camera. I think the problem with the camera is that my computer decided to do some updates on its own yesterday, and when it does that, everything changes. So I'm going to be orange today because it's going to take me a while to figure out how to change that. Anyhow, how are you guys doing? Do you have questions? What's going on? What's up? What's down? It's Q&A time. And I am looking for the questions. Here we go. Oh no, now I opened my own live stream. That was not what I wanted to do. Perfect. Okay. Hello, Nomad Man. Hello, Before Zoo. Vicky. Here we go. A question. What is your holiday day life looking like? Food, event-wise, any special resolutions for New Year you come up since your video on that topic? Well, did you watch the video? I'm not making any New Year's resolutions. I am always committed to improving my life. And I don't see that as a New Year's thing. I see that as something that I'm doing on a weekly and monthly basis ongoingly. I have bigger goals like for the I actually don't need these anymore. Sorry, I just came off another call. That's why I have them on. I don't actually need to make any such commitments because I always have goals that I'm working towards. So I have goals years in the future that I always keep in mind, and they just keep me moving forward. I mean, I do short-term goals for like the month, for example. Like in December, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do a lot of podcast recordings, and I'm gonna be having these scheduled ahead of time up until a certain date. I want to be 10 episodes ahead. I'm at 7 right now, and I'm not sure I'm gonna do the last 3 because there are a few things that I want to look up and do before that, but I may or may not. I have a good reason though, so it's not just laziness. So there's always like something that I'm focusing on every month that just might take a little bit more time, something that I want to achieve. So I prefer to work that way because I think New Year's resolutions are not really the right thing to do, as you might have figured out from my video. Hello, Miss Paprika. Catherine, have you read Mark Schatzker's The End of Craving? And if so, what did you think of it? No, I've never heard of it, but now that you mention it, I'm going to write that down. So give me a second. The End of Craving. So what is it about? I mean, other than cravings, of course. I get that. I'm just wondering if it's anything like similar to what I do or not. Uh-oh, dusters today. You're only like 3 minutes late, Jim. You'll be all right. I forgive you. I had a New Year's resolution in 2010 that I will never make resolutions again. Time to break that since I planned on doing the World Carnivore Month on a strict lion diet starting this week. What if that is not a New Year's resolution? What if that is just you wanting to try something? Doesn't have to be a New Year's resolution just because it happens to start on the 1st of January or whatever. Vicky never made them. No, good girl. I can't even remember what I made, but I remember like when I was younger, it was always like, oh, what New Year's resolutions are you gonna get? Everyone had them, and it was just like silly things, and no one was really sticking with them anyway. It was just a thing that you did, and no one had thought it through. Mm, yeah, that's a way healthier approach indeed. Yeah, if your mind is always set on like growing and in whatever area you want to grow, for me, it's like I want to move towards the life that I really want to have, like the lifestyle, living where I want to live, do what I want to do, and also my health. Like two areas that I'm always interested in improving. Catherine says it's about how engineered foods cause unnatural cravings and how to solve this. Uh, it's right in your area. The end of craving. He also wrote the Dorito effect and a book about steak. Oh, that's such a good title. Okay, I'll see if I can get my hands on that, and especially if it's on audiobook, I'll definitely listen to it because then it's easy. I just don't have a lot of time to sit down and read a physical book, so I find audiobooks nowadays is so much easier to do. So I'll have a look at that. And meanwhile, I'm gonna see if I can share the Facebook group questions. What is this? Share screen. Which window? Hopefully it's this one. Let's see. I think it's this one. We had some questions there, so I'm gonna have to make it bigger for you, won't I? Let's see if that's enough. So I'm gonna read some of this now. Sophie is asking, do you think self-punishment is a good or bad thing when it comes to caving into the cravings, as in making yourself do extra workouts or restrictions the following day, etc.? No, I don't think that is good at all. I think the problem with the punishment is that you're forcing yourself to do something and trying to negatively reinforce yourself to do it. And in the long term, that's never really going to work. So, what about just doing the opposite way and positively reinforce yourself so that you get a little bit of a dopamine reward when you're doing it the way that you want to do it? And that can be in any form. Like, I think I've given the example before, like if every time you successfully allow a craving, you just like you take a marble and you put it in a jar and then you just want to fill that jar up. So while you see that that jar is just getting fuller and fuller with marbles, you know that this is how many times I've succeeded doing it. And that is actually, I mean, it's super simple, but your brain is just getting like a little bit of dopamine from that. Or if you're like super creative, you might want to, you know, have something that you can color in every time you do something, and eventually you're going to have this nice picture finished or whatever. You can do anything like that. David is asking, how do I rebuild trust in myself that I promise myself I won't eat it for 24 hours, I'll actually stick to it. If I do have a plan, then how do I stick to only eating a limited quantity 24 hours later and not go on an eating rampage? Once I eat a few cookies, I usually feel I have to eat the whole bag. I have a long history of not following through on my promises to myself or what I will or will not eat. Also, we have dinner guests coming this Friday night and they are bringing dessert. I'm not sure if I should plan to have something they bring, which may lead to me going off the rails after that, or if I should just try to stick to eating my normal food. Any suggestions? I'm in week 1 of your boot camp. Thanks. P.S. I would love to do a live coaching session with you if you ever need volunteers. Awesome. Okay, so where do we start? David, I think, okay, I'll start from the beginning. You rebuild trust or you build trust in yourself by following through on whatever you say that you're going to do. If you're trying to do 24 hours every day and you're failing doing that, what would be realistic planning for you? How could you plan in a way that will allow you to succeed? That's a really good place to start because you can retrain your brain to just be completely on board with you following your plan. But that is only going to happen if you actually do follow your plan. So sometimes we have to kind of dumb it down for ourselves and we need to make it really, really simple to do. And if you say, okay, I'm not going to eat any of that for maybe 16 hours. Okay, I can do that. and then you do 16 hours, and then it's fine. But you need to let go of like, yeah, I can promise myself 16 hours, but I really would like to do 24, because then your mind is still set on the 24, and you're still going to feel like a failure if you start eating something after 16 hours. So you just need to set realistic goals in the beginning and then slowly increase them. When you know that you can do 16 hours, if you do 5 days of 16 hours, day six, you might want to go up to 18. Or you may want to increase it with 30 minutes every day. If I can go 16 hours, I can go 16 and a half. If I can go 16 and a half, I can go 17. Like just do small incremental increases so it doesn't feel overwhelming. Because when you can start trusting yourself that you can do 16 hours, it's going to be easy to just add a tiny bit on top of that. Um, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So that's how you stick to a plan. And then if I do have a plan, then how do I stick to only eating a limited quantity 24 hours later and not go on an eating rampage? Same thing. You decide how much you're going to eat and you stick with that. And that might mean I'm going to eat shitloads in the beginning, just to train yourself to follow your plan. And then one day you decide, today I'm just going to eat this little, and tomorrow I'm going to eat this much again. And you might want to play around with that and just get your brain used to doing whatever you plan on doing. Sometimes you're just going to eat the world. Sometimes you have decided before that you're not going to eat that much, and then you stick with it. It's a retraining issue. And then once I eat a few cookies, I usually feel I have to eat the whole bag. Yeah, that's for all of us, like sugar addicts. That's always going to happen. Um, that's so you're on day one. You probably, if you were on day two, you will know how to deal with a craving, like how to sit with a craving. So if you watch that, you learn how to sit with a craving. Just do that practice whenever you have a craving. Then you will be able to eat a few cookies if you want to, and then stop. This is much harder than not eating the cookies at all. It's always going to be the case. But I just want to offer you that is a possibility. I have a long history of not following through on my promises to myself of what I will or will not eat. I think we all do. And it's just that we never really allow ourselves to start trust ourselves because we haven't ever been able to plan like small steps. It feels like there's no progress if I'm just eating less or whatever it might be. Like it feels frustrating because we have human brains and we want to be at the goal already. But the quickest way to get to the goal is sometimes to actually go slow. Okay, dinner guest is on Friday and they are bringing dessert. You're not sure if you're going to plan to have something that they bring, which may lead to you going off rails after that. So that's a trust issue again. But I mean, if you haven't started doing this work, then maybe it's likely that you are going to go off on rails. Like maybe. So what do you want to do in this situation? I think the first thing you need to do is start practicing just allowing yourself to have cravings. You're not going to be ready on Friday. Like this, it's going to take a little bit longer than that. But if you want to stick with eating your normal food, then you should be doing that. But if you feel like there is resistance to doing that and you're like, I want to have something that they're bringing, ask yourself, like, okay, why do I want to have it? Or why do I not want to have it? Like, what are the pros and cons? And make a conscious decision about what you want to do this Friday. It's always about awareness and you being in control. If you feel like you're choosing to do one thing or the other because you are scared of what will happen if you don't, then you need to deal with that fear. Yes, okay. So, yes, I think there was something else here. I just didn't have time to read it. So I'm gonna I'll do this one and then I'll go back to the chat again. Another question, if no one else is asking. I ate a little bit of fried fish that I made for my family. My next thought is I blew it. What else am I going to eat now? In the scheme of things, eating about 75 grams of fish fried in olive oil and rice flour is not the end of the world and shouldn't make me lose the plot. How can I stop this black or white thinking of once I fall off the wagon, I might as well eat everything else that's off the plan now as well? Well, the first thing you could be doing is just asking yourself, like, why does 75 grams of fish matter? How would eating everything else as well help you reach the goal that you want to reach? You probably be like, well, it won't. So why are you choosing to make it a big deal? Like, those are the questions that you need to ask yourself. Like, what upside is it? Or what is it that you're trying to escape? Is it just like what I see most often is that I blew it, so I may as well eat whatever now that I'm off the diet anyway, has a lot to do with you judging yourself for doing it, and also the the emotions that you want to escape by eating are still there. So this is your brain is just like seeing this as a major opportunity to actually get rid of that pain, because now it doesn't matter anymore because you already blown it, so the results are gone. But that's not true, because 75 grams of fish is probably not going to matter that much. So if you just get back, refocus, and stick with the diet, you're going to get to your goal a lot quicker than if you just like, I'm going to eat it all. So since you still on just day one, I think, like, hear what I'm saying, but don't try to implement everything that I say at once, because that might quickly become very overwhelming. So I just want to warn you. Right, let's hop back to the chat. Let's see where we were. Okay, here we go. I just start a few days before New Year's, so it counts as just a project. Yeah, there you go. No New Year's resolutions. It's not a resolution, it's an experiment. Wear a lab coat. Yeah, wear a lab coat. It will solve your problems. Yay. I'll let you know on January 20th. Awesome. Vicky, January 21st is my anniversary for 1 year carnivore. Awesome. I have my eating no sugar for a year anniversary in, what day is it today? 28th for me. In 3 days. And then I'm going to have ice cream. That's my experiment. And I'm going to film it all, and that will be my next podcast coming out. So you will know all about it. You can polish off the end of craving in about 2 sittings. Okay? Jacqueline. Hi, Pim. I'm going into week 12 of carnivore. Yay! This Christmas just gone was the first time in my life when I was not a slave to my carb addiction. That's awesome. Carnivore is healing me at the cellular level, I think. That's so great. And I really love it. Sorry, I need to stand up. I usually stand on my live streams. I don't like sitting, but I was in a coaching call before and then I like to sit. So that's awesome. And I am so glad that it's working for you. I've had this discussion with a lot of people recently that it's for those of us who are addicted to carbs, it's really unfortunate that all of these videos are like, eat more butter and your cravings will go away, or just eat carnivore and the cravings will be gone. It will cure your addictions and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't work for those of us who are properly addicted. And that's because there's nothing wrong. I mean, it's not a dietary problem. It has to do with other things. So I'm really, really happy for you. And I wish that it worked for more people, but there's so many people who it doesn't work for. And I think I'm the only one talking about it. So I hope that they find me and feel some, at least, relief from knowing that it's not just them that it doesn't work for. There are many people who it's not going to work for. And I'm super happy that it's working for you, Vicky. Oh, sorry, Jacqueline. Vicky has done almost a year. I created this subconscious mindset that whenever I am in the supermarket for eggs and butter, the first thing on my mind comes up is with when I look at the junk is not the taste, but the toxins, oxalates. Yeah. So that's just you retraining your brain. And this is really good to know. Like some people, I've had quite a lot of new people coming into my group on my Facebook group, and a lot of people want to know, like, what should I eat to get rid of the cravings? And I'm like, this is completely not the point. This is exactly what the message I want to get out and make people see that it's not always about that. And for many people, that doesn't help. And we are completely capable of retraining our brains. So people ask me, what should I do? What should I eat? And I'm like, what should you think? You need to think differently. And then we get into the trouble of, but how do I think differently? You just start thinking it. You decide what you want to think, preferably something that you already believe but isn't an automatic thought for you. And then you start thinking it on purpose. You remind yourself of this and you start reminding yourself, reminding yourself, reminding yourself all day long, as often as you can, until your brain has got this programmed into it and offers you this thought automatically. And that's exactly what you've done. You've gone into the supermarket, you're looking at the junk, and you're like, those are toxins, those are toxins, those are toxins. And now your brain's just like, toxins, oxalates, not good. You literally reprogram your brain. And that's how you do it. You just need to choose to do it, and you need to do it on purpose. Yeah, I mean, you can choose to think whatever you want to think, and if that works for you, why not? I don't see any harm in it. There would be harm in it if you changed your mind and all of a sudden thought that these foods are supposed to be healthy. Then you have to reprogram your brain again to not think about that. When the potato salad was placed on the table at my family Christmas dinner, it smelled awesome. And a second later, I thought, oxalates. 7 people a year die of eating potatoes. All that stuff. 7 people a year. I haven't heard that one. That's funny. No, I think it's good. I mean, you are focusing on thinking things about the foods that are not good for you. If you wanted to kind of up level that and if it works for you, I think it's probably slightly better to think about the foods that you do want to eat and how much value they provide for you, like how nutritious they are, how much they can help you. Because when we have this want energy, like I want to eat those foods, we feel better. Rather than that, now you're like, I don't want to eat them. And it's kind of a negative energy. So that's the only difference I would kind of offer you. So maybe you want to retrain your brain to think more about the foods that you do want to eat and how beneficial they are. But really, it doesn't matter that much. Miss Paprika, yesterday I planned to have ice cream today. Drum rolls. This moment I haven't touched the ice cream and I don't plan for the next hours, even though I know it weighs in the freezer. So you just didn't want it. You're like, well, I'm going to choose not to have it. That's awesome. I have ice cream in my freezer and it's been there for, I don't know, 10 days, 2 weeks. It's waiting for New Year's Eve. And I don't even think about it every day. I think about it mostly when I'm talking to you guys or if I'm getting something else out of the freezer and I see it and then I forget about it. It's just a container with ice cream and I don't really feel compelled to eat it, which is awesome. And it's strange at the same time. Like it's just sitting there. And normally ice cream would be a big trigger. So it's probably one of the biggest triggers because I really like ice cream. But it isn't. Yeah, I read ingredients and it makes me say nope to the junk. Plus, I go straight to meat department, butter, eggs, register, and try to not to go to the other aisles. Yeah, awesome. This is a good point, Vicky. Yes, I don't even pass my junk sections. Just seeing other people's carts is where the horror is at. So, not passing the junk sections is fine. If you're someone who is at this current moment training yourself and you're trying to learn how to allow yourself to have cravings, you might want to walk past all that junk because this is a brilliant opportunity for you to practice. Just wanted to say that. That goes for all my students and everyone who has been in my challenges, etc. You know what I'm talking about. 50 organic pasture raised eggs, 1 kilo of butter, I'm out. But since dairy section is the part in the market you have to travel to the longest by design since they want to lure you in, it's bound to happen. Oh well, doesn't matter. It's good practice. And you desensitize yourself to that very quickly. This paprika is doing same thing, but not about toxins, etc., but more about the direct impact on my own body, itching and other pains. In the grocery, I don't recognize those items as food anymore. Isn't that wonderful? Like, those are not foods. I look at it as well. Think I had them, I still have them on my desk, and I don't know how long they're going to be on my desk, but like these bloody jelly beans that I was sent with something that I ordered, they're on my desk and they just like colorful marbles. I don't even think about them as something that I would like open the packet and actually eat them. I don't know why would I do that. It's just, and I know that they're probably not even going to taste that nice. They're probably going to taste super sweet to me and be just yucky. And they provide zero nutrition. They provide nothing that me or my body wants. I don't want spiked blood sugar feel the crash afterwards. Still remembering the 2 days of being tired as fuck after eating Burger King 3 weeks into keto phase. Interesting. Did you eat it with the bread? Is that why? Let's see. Woohoo! Celebration time. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone. Yeah, and you're correct. I should be celebrating it, but it feels like it's just normal. So my brain is like, what's there to celebrate? But I don't celebrate enough. So maybe that should be something that I should focus on next year to just like celebrate small things a lot more often. I am recognizing like when I'm making progress and such, but maybe I don't celebrate enough. I think it's important to celebrate things and actually give yourself a pat on the back and say, hey, you actually done it. So I went from in the beginning, like I haven't done it long enough and it doesn't feel like I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop, like something's gonna go wrong. And I was like, it isn't really going wrong. And now I'm like, of course it wasn't gonna go wrong. I'm not even tempted anymore. And now it's normal. So it's like from this anxious place where you think that something's gonna go wrong to it's normal. And that is what I would like to celebrate when that shift is happening, when I started trusting myself that nothing is gonna go wrong. And it's just like your brain has just gotten used to it and it takes a little while. So if you are fairly new to it and you think that, oh, I'm wondering how long this is going to last, those thoughts are normal and they will go away. They can go away quicker if you're actually focusing on like changing those thoughts. But to be honest, if you just keep doing what you're doing, you're going to be convinced either way. Um, Jim says something. I'm finally getting to where I can walk down the ice cream aisle and say, oh, that looks good, but just keep walking. Yes. Jim, I'm so happy for you. And this is, oh, I love it. I can do that. I can go past, like, even like go past the bakery and I can smell the things. I'm like, that smells lovely. And I know how sick I'm going to feel if I'm eating it. Like, there's nothing in my body that wants me to eat it. I just like the smell. And that's fine, which is super cool. That's such a victory, Jim. I hope you are celebrating that because Maybe you don't realize it, but it's actually a big step to desensitizing your brains to all of these kind of things. It's awesome. I had to go to the kosher section to get Shabbat candles, and next to the kosher section is the European section. And I was tempted telling myself the candy is better in the UK, where that poison's allowed in the US. Yeah, I'm not, I mean, I don't actually know, but so for those of you who don't know, I'm Swedish. I moved to the UK and I gained a lot of weight doing that. Just moving from Sweden to the UK, because in Sweden, even though I was still addicted to carbs and I would have, I would eat chocolate and I would eat donuts and God knows whatever if I wasn't on the keto diet. So when I wouldn't be on the keto diet, I would just eat that shit. Or if I had like exception eats or whatever. And then I moved to the UK. And it's like you cannot buy one donut. You have to buy a 5-pack. And everything is in like multi-pack. So obviously I would buy it and then I would eat all of that. So it's like a forced binge every time because I couldn't throw it away. And this just made me gain a lot of weight. Um yeah, so I don't know about the toxin levels compared to the US, but bullshit is bullshit. Even if there's less toxins, it's still bullshit. It's just funny. I got chocolate as a gift 2 times last year. They stay at my room for some weeks until I gift them to my family. I know I should probably throw them out, but I want to let them know I don't want that. Yeah, but you say you should throw them out, and I get where you're coming from, but if your family is eating chocolate, they're gonna eat chocolate anyway. Sure, you don't have to give them more, which might save them a little bit, but on the other hand, it's probably not gonna make a difference. You could throw it out and get them something else that is much more useful, but also maybe they appreciate that. So it's kind of like, does it really matter? Is there any upside to giving it to them versus not giving it to them? And is there a big difference between them? So if you want to do that, don't feel guilty about it or anything. Okay, double cheeseburger, long chicken and fries. What is long chicken? Sorry, I don't even know if there's a Burger King here. I just don't eat that stuff. Although I know that they have health pizza, and obviously they had KFC, which I've eaten twice in my life, and it's not good. Anyhow, all with bread and everything. Last time I've ever had non-keto carne food, 11 months ago, I believe. Yeah, so it's not just the carbs; it's also everything is fucking well. The the um, the chicken was probably, and the fries is deep fried, and those rancid oils are probably the worst thing that you could do. Question: to force cravings for practicing, would it be a good idea to buy everything expensive things, knowing I will throw them away? Or should I stick to cheaper stuff so I don't risk eating it? Just because I spent so much money. um, I mean, if you are not going to eat it and you're just going to throw it away, why would you want to spend a lot of money on it? I personally wouldn't do that. What I would do instead, I would go to these special chocolate shops or whatever that have like all their homemade, super fancy chocolates that costs you a fortune, and just go in and kind of sniff at it and drool at the counter and get your cravings done that way. That's what I would do probably. I know they had one, God, where were we? I can't even remember. Oh, in Queenstown. We were in Queenstown and they had one of those shops, and I just I light up when I see people create beautiful things with food, and I'm like, I need to go in there and I just need to have a look. And they had all these beautiful chocolate things like that, sculptures, and God knows what they had. But it had so many things, and I just went around and I was like reading every label, and some of them just sound delicious, and they're super expensive. Like that could create cravings if you want to go for like the luxury stuff, and you don't have to throw it away. And unless you're going to give it to your husband or your kids or whatever, then fine, you can buy the expensive stuff. But I wouldn't spend a lot of money on doing this. um, so if that is what is actually tempting you, then I would just get it and give it to them. If that's the specific things that you want to, God, my voice, decondition your brain to. Like if you get the cheapest stuff and you actually buy it and you bring it home and you don't even get any cravings, then it's going to be hard for you to practice with that. But you don't have to buy things to actually practice with it. I mean, one of my favorite things is actually walking past the bakery in the supermarket because they're always baking shit, especially if you're doing during the day. It's always going to smell of bread or cookies or something else, and smells are just like that triggers a lot of people. Just craved any form of energy at that point since all I ate early keto was all almond bread and spinach and oh fuck that. Excuse my French. That sounds awful. That's given me the idea to search for such a shop in my area, hoping they have places to sit and then to sketch their designs while sitting with the cravings. That's so awesome. That's brilliant. And they usually do. And you usually can get a cup of coffee there if you like coffee or whatever, or a cup of tea. So that's awesome. Jesus, stop doing that, Pim. Does the smell have any effect on the body besides a possible cephalic phase insulin response? Like, can smell alone do more than bad stuff that spike insulin? Um, I I don't know actually. I don't really think that a smell is going to do that, but a smell can absolutely trigger craving, and smell can trigger some insulin. So I'm not really sure how much a smell can do. Um, sorry. It's like if you have something and you like before you even bite into something that you know that this is going to be nice. I have a nice juicy donut here. Before you even bite into that donut, your brain is going to start release that dopamine. And that's part of why it's so hard when you see it to stop, because you already started the process of getting that reward. So you're kind of anticipating this just growing, growing, growing. So when you're actually finally biting into it and you're chewing it, it's just going to be like a release, and it's going to be more, and your brain is going to want more, and that's why you want to continue eating it and not stop. So a smell can probably have a little bit of the same, I suspect. Like it just helps you anticipate what it would be to eat it. Mhm. No, neither coffee or tea, at max a cup of hot water. Yep, well, you can ask for a cup of hot water. That's fine. Might charge you €1 for that or something. Good business on their behalf, but might be worth it because it's quite these places. They're quite nice to just like sit and look, and if you want to sketch, even better. But it's just a different environment, which can be quite nice to be in. I found that very interesting when Alex described every single bite of his treat, how fast it. Sorry, I need to sneeze. Weak, the sneezing. Okay. Um, how fast it weans off if you spend a few seconds thinking of it. Yeah, it's crazy. It's like, oh, I need more. And I don't think he's here, but another one of my clients was describing it as when he ate something, he noticed that he just wanted to start eating quicker and quicker and quicker when doing this experiment. It's just like you start biting in and then like next one, and then your brain's like, oh, next one, next one, next one, just do it. It's this, I need the dopamine now. It's like urgent as fuck. And the brain just wants you to get all of that at once, because if you eat it quickly, you're gonna get more of a spike, maybe. I don't know if that's actually true, but the brain just wants you to keep eating and as much as possible because it's craving that dopamine hit. Can iodine drops help with increased ferritin levels by carnivore diet? I have no idea. I don't know. I'm sorry, I can't answer that question. Um, Maybe you should ask Dr. Bright because she's been talking a lot about iodine, or I don't know if she is into the ferritin, but I suspect that she knows what she's talking about. So maybe check with her. Okay, do we have more questions? You're welcome. I'm sorry that I couldn't give you a better answer. Actually, I have started taking iodine drops myself recently, and we shall see if something happens. What I have noticed is that I've been able to be more zero carb than I have previously, so I haven't had the headaches from doing it. But having said that, the last 3 days I've had a very low level headache, and maybe it's because it's been very warm. I'm not really sure. I've always loved going to the bakery while shopping before carnival and seeing the amazing pastries, the decorations, etc. I think they're beautiful, but I never bought anything. Yeah, I like that too. And I don't like, well, I don't like, I like it when I know that someone has created that with their bare hands, when it isn't something that is just created by machine. Like when I know it, because I know how much I enjoy creating that myself. I love like making cakes and all of that. The problem for me was that if I made them, then I would want to eat them. How long was your current low headache phase? Could you pinpoint it to anything specifically? Well, I'm in one right now. So today is day 3 and I still have it. And it's kind of actually on both sides, which is a little bit unusual. It's kind of here. When I have a headache that is like that will go away with eating carbs, it's usually like on top of the head, which is really, really strange because I've never had that in my life before. And when it's gonna be like a migraine or something, it's always one-sided. So I'm not really sure what this is. And it's not disrupting and it's not making me super tired, but it's also sort of in the back of my mind because I can feel it constantly. And the only thing that I can think of is the temperature because I haven't been eating anything different. Yesterday I was again actually binging on butter. So I told you that I tried to eat more butter, and my body was just after 4 days was like, no, I don't like butter anymore, and now I like butter again. So my body's just telling me what I want and what I need probably, and then I'm gonna do it. Me too. I love baking. I used to bake a lot when stressed. On keto, I created a lot, but always felt like garbage. Yeah, yeah, I do like baking. I mean, I've worked in some bakeries, and I always love it. I don't know. It wouldn't it isn't as satisfying to me to create like savory food. I just like playing around with the baked stuff for whatever reason. Maybe there's like some thought that this is going to be delicious, but it's so much about the aesthetics and what it looks like and how I can develop my skills when it comes to actually creating something that looks amazing. But yeah. I remember migraines, total bullshit. Dizzy sight on one eye, felt like having a partial stroke. Glad I lost those. Oh yeah. My migraines are mostly brain fog, fatigue, intense headache on one side, and then slowly, gradually getting better day by day, and it's just moving from one side to the other. So when I wake up every morning, it's always shifted sides. So it's kind of like back and forth until it's gone. But it makes me unable to think clearly, as in if I stood here with a head with a migraine, I might be thinking a lot now and like, what am I supposed to say? But then I'm just like, it's like I'm unable to focus and I can't collect my thoughts. So that wouldn't really work. Questions, more questions. Do you have any questions? Otherwise, we're going to finish up, which is fine. We've been going for 45 minutes. So meanwhile, do I have anything that I want to tell you? So today is Wednesday. Just if you're not in the Facebook group and you want to be in the Facebook group, what we do there is like I do some live streaming there right now, which is only for the Facebook group. I'm thinking about changing this. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to decide this week. We do the Zoom weekend hangouts, and you will get an invitation naturally, like automatically, if you're in the group. If you just want to hang out with us, it's awesome. People are just there, and we talk about everything and anything. There's no agenda with those meetings, and it's just nice to hang out with people. We're going to start doing some other things because I like the community aspect, and I think a lot of the people in there do. So if you're someone who wants that community and you actually want to connect with other people who are on like the same page as you, then you really should be joining the Facebook group. You will be asked a few questions when you are joining. So if you don't see those questions, which has happened to me before when I'm trying to join a group on my mobile phone, then what happens is that you're going to be automatically declined and you're going to have to reapply. And the link to join that is maybe in the description. I'm not sure if they are for the Q&As. Maybe, maybe not. I can't remember. But the group is called Life Beyond Cravings for Kick-Ass Keto Wars. So you can just hop in there, join there if you want to be part of that. Now more comments here. I would literally feel like seeing through 10 layers of plastic with one eye and the ache with ramming my head into a wall. Taking pills, go to sleep 24 hours later, still 100% pain. Yeah, that's not good. Maybe you have worse migraines than me. Because mine are always, they go from feeling a bit of a headache to a full-blown migraine in just a few hours, but then it's usually slightly better the next day and then slightly. So for me, they will last maybe 3-4 days and be less intense every day. But no painkillers that I can get without a prescription would ever help. I love making bread too, very therapeutic. Kneading the dough and braiding the bread. Yeah. Creating something beautiful. Now I'll bake every once in a while and take to my congregation. Yeah. Yeah, I like bread as well. But I like decorating, I think. Wish you all a great happy new year and stay nourished. Yes. Please do stay nourished. And I don't know, we spoke a little bit about what people have been eating in the last Zoom hangout, and pretty much everyone had been keep eating what they are eating. Like, it hasn't been a huge problem, and I am so happy to hear that, and I'm so proud of these people. And even when we choose to just have an exception for those of you who have done that, if you're in control, like that is a win. It doesn't matter what you're eating. If you are in control and you have chosen something on purpose and managed to stay with that plan, congratulations. That is massive. It is a lot harder to have one piece of cake than to not have any cake at all. And to have that one piece and not go on a binge after. Is there a community to help get motivation for working out? Well, Vicky, you're in the Facebook group, aren't you? You could ask if there are any people in there who might want to kind of buddy up with you for like accountability or something. And I think you can start like group chats in there. And if I need to do that, then we can do that. And you can just have a group chat in the group or something like that. So think about that. Or maybe it's another Vicky that is in there. But I thought I saw you in there. So I might be, yeah, you say yes. Okay, good. I'm not confused then. So maybe just put that out there. Just post it like, hey, I want to do this. Anyone with me? You might get some takers. I mean, the group is still quite small, but I'm hoping that we're going to grow and get a lot of people who are interested in actually living their best freaking lives. That's what it's about. Just get, the saying like you are the person, or you are like the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So if we surround ourselves with other people who are working on living this way and actually thriving and doing whatever the fuck they want because it's exciting and it's actually living their lives, then that's who you're going to become as well. So sometimes it can be really hard to do it in a very negative environment when no one else wants to change or do anything, or stop eating carbs or whatever. So that's where this community aspect comes in. It's like if you guys can connect with each other and just like be there for each other and just talk to each other, bounce ideas off each other, because it's not just about me telling you how to do this, it's also about connecting with other people. So if there's an opportunity to do that with other people who have, the same view on diet and exercise as you, great, like use it to the max. There are 3 questions when you ask to join the Facebook group. Tell them Pam Johnson sent you. Thanks, Jim. You're here to help, are you? Also had 2 to 3 days once or twice a year. Stopped after removing gluten for me, I believe. Okay, that's interesting. I don't think I've had any gluten for. Well, actually, I did probably have bread late last year at one point, but gluten isn't anything that I've been eating a lot of in the last 15 years at all. Like, that's been something occasional and never really anything that I've reacted to as in gluten on its own. But I used to call them pizza headaches back in the days because I could eat 2 slices of pizza and I would be fine. If I had three, I would always have a headache the day after. And I think that's just like the amount of carbs that I could have without getting a headache, because a lot of carbs always gives me headaches as well. Yes, I know, Jim. You are very helpful. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'll definitely do it. Good. I'm so lazy about getting off my tush and working out. It's so ignorant because when I do work out, it makes me feel good. So I don't understand why I'm lazy. Because one of the things that your brain is designed to do, your primitive part of the brain, is to conserve energy. It wants you to conserve energy. It wants you to feel pleasure, and it wants you to feel connection to other people. So it's just one of those things. Like going for exercise doesn't come naturally to most people, because what comes naturally is that we want to lay down on the sofa and just chill, because that conserves energy. So that's why. Um, yeah. So what you need to overcome is just the resistance to actually start doing it, because once we start it, it's usually easy to continue. I heard of people who had problems with gluten switch to another starch-based stuff that also contain gluten and were fine. So maybe one of the other dozen stuffs in wheat is damaging as well. Yep, absolutely. I don't think there's anything good in wheat, to be honest. There's so much crap in there. All all affecting you in different ways. But as you say, I mean, there's gluten in rice and corn as well. It's just a different type of gluten, and most people don't react as badly to it. But that's it. Right, so I think this is a good place to wrap this up. There is one more. Of course, Jim had something more to say. Figuring out I had a gluten problem made cutting the breads and stuff a lot easier. Now working on sugar itself. Yeah. So it's just like, I want you to notice here, like the thinking was like gluten is something that is really not good for me, and you're completely buying into that. You believe that 100%. Whereas sugar, there's more playroom. It's like, well, a little bit is probably not gonna matter. Because in reality, if you have a little bit of sugar, it's probably not gonna make you feel sick. It's not going to, I mean, it will raise your blood sugar, so that might be a thing that you could test, because just like eating 5 grams of sugar is gonna raise your blood sugar a lot. And we don't think it's going to make much of a difference, but it actually will. But so we just think that, well, a little bit is not going to be that harmful. It's not going to change your A1C if you were measuring that, and all of that stuff. So we don't see it as harmful, and therefore we give more room to negotiating with it. So you just need to get to a place where you're like, well, any amount of sugar, I know that it's not going to be good for me and I don't want to do it. And whatever is motivating you to think that way. For me, it's just like, this is not doing anything for me. I just know it doesn't contribute to anything other than messing up my hormones and preventing me from losing weight, or even making me gain weight and inflammation. That's what I know. And I know that that is true. And the weight I'm gaining from eating a little bit of sugar is not going to be in fat, it's going to be in the inflammation and the storage of fluids at the time. But then it's going to take a while for me to get rid of that. And that is actually going to prevent any other weight loss that I might have had. So anyhow, that then. So thank you so much for being here today. I want to, well, I will see you if you're here for my session with Jared. But if you're not, I want to just wish you a happy new year, and don't do the New Year's resolutions. Just commit to yourself and your health and your goals and keep doing that for the rest of your life. That's much more exciting. Hi to ho, have a happy new year. Well, hello, Master Chief Burgess. You're a little bit late, so you can stay with the dusters. Thank you, Jim. Did I get that up? Anyhow, so yeah, you have a good one, Miss Paprika. Susie, thank you. Happy New Year to you too. And I shall see you on the other side. And the next time my podcast comes out on Sunday, I will show you how my little ice cream experiment went. Greetings. I'll get a lab coat for my steaks now. Awesome. You do that. Bye, Vicky.